Yo!
Ahoy!
Welcome to episode 11 of Bottom of the Stream.
Yes.
Double figures.
+1.
Nice.
It's a lovely day outside.
Beautiful day
You can
outside
see it
today.
from the bridge of the boat
Yeah.
as we look over the stream.
Yeah, down on the stream bed. There's loads of stuff waiting for us to come and find it. And we're out there cruising the stream.
Let's see what we pick up today.
What we pick up today. So, before we get into it, the social medias are Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. BOTS_podcast. Instagram is the same. Follow us on Instagram. Email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com. I've done it in a different order. It's confused me. Facebook.com/bottomofthestream. And the website is bottomofthestream.podbean.com. Follow us on all the socials and we will update you with what's coming and what we're up to during the week.
Yeah, and also feel free to give us a rating, a review on any of the podcast apps, websites.
Definitely like and subscribe and
however you find us.
Rate and review. We're not going to beg for it, but...
Oh, promote. I'm not calling it begging.
Okay.
Promoting.
Okay, promoting. We're going to promote. We're not going to beg, but a 5-star review would be wonderful. That being said, are we ready to go fishing?
Yes, Adam, I am.
Excellent. So, what came out of the stream this week, Nicholas?
So this week we're going to talk about a movie called Bottom of the World.
Bottom of the world or bottom of the stream?
Bottom of the World on Bottom of the Stream.
Oh, it's confusing. This is going to get confusing. It's going to get confusing anyway.
This film will be confusing.
Yeah, this film is very, very confusing. But ultimately rewarding, I thought. Stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really short film and it has got... So much happens in an hour and 20 minutes.
Hour and 24 minutes, Netflix.
It's bonkers.
It is bonkers. It's not the sort of film that you can just put on and do something else. This is the sort of film where you need to put on, turn all the lights off, be on your own, get your notebook out and really follow it. You can't...
Sometimes, since we've started doing this podcast, I've felt a bit weird when I've watched stuff and I'm not taking notes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was watching a film the other night and I was like, well, yeah, I've not got my notepad.
And it really helped taking notes for this.
Definitely. I don't know how you can watch this film if you're not taking notes. I've done over 7 pages on this one.
They're small pages, but yeah.
They are.
Yeah, so no, it's interesting. So it's from 2017. It's directed by Richard Sears.
Yeah, it's not a name I'd heard before, but I've done a bit of research on him.
Good. And
he made a film in 1998, I believe. I'm just looking. 1998 called Bongwater.
Right, okay.
Okay. This is credited as launching the careers of the following people.
Right.
This is the cast list.
Go for it.
Luke Wilson, Brittany Murphy, Jack Black, Jamie Kennedy, Scott Caan. There's a lot of people in here from
that's impressive,
late 90s. And nobody's ever heard of it. But it isn't on Netflix, unfortunately. But yeah, there's a big cast there for such a small film.
And he's not done much since.
He's not really done much in between either. Okay. But weirdly, that film's rated at 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
Right.
So is this one.
Okay.
So he loves his 5.4s.
He's got a good benchmark.
Yeah, absolutely he has.
So Bottom of the World stars Jenna Malone as Scarlett. You might know her from Sucker Punch. She was probably most famous for being in Donnie Darko.
Oh, was she in Donnie Darko? I didn't know that.
She was
I love Donnie Darko as well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that for a long time.
His friend in that
film. Right, okay.
That's going back a few years.
Yeah.
And then
it really is.
Our lead male is Douglas Smith, who plays Alex.
Who is in The Alienist, which is a drama on Netflix. Okay. Which is really good. If you get a chance to watch it, it's really good. He's in that. He's not like a main character, but he is in it. And
the basic premise of Bottom of the World is that Scarlett and Alex are taking a road trip.
Yeah, they're on their way to LA.
Yeah.
I believe.
And they stop at a strange motel.
Yeah, a little backwater town in the middle of nowhere.
And then creepiness ensues,
a lot of creepiness. The El Rancho Hotel Motel, it's called. Did you notice the sign was flicking between a H and an M? There's like a neon sign, and it was the El Rancho Hotel Motel, which I thought was quite... I've never seen that. I quite enjoy that. I like little details like that.
So they pull up at this... Yeah, so we join them.
Yeah, they're in a car driving for a desert.
She's not very well,
No,
Scarlett.
He has to pull over so she can throw up out of the door.
Yeah.
It takes him ages to pull over. Did you notice? Yeah. She was like, pull over, and he stopped like 10 minutes later.
Yeah. With no one else.
She still hadn't stopped by the time she was thrown up out of the door.
So they find this motel hotel.
Motel hotel.
And they stop. They get out of the car, and she immediately says, "Oh, I've got a weird feeling like I've been here before."
Yeah, she recognised it. It was a really cool looking building, 50s style hotel with neon
Yeah, so they're driving through the desert, basically, aren't they?
They're in the middle of nowhere.
So they check in, and they have a few drinks in their room.
Yeah, they get a bit buzzed.
They're there for a good time.
Yeah.
And she asks, Scarlett asks Alex, what's the worst thing you've ever done?
Yeah, he kind of skirts the question.
Yeah.
He stole some Twinkies earlier that day.
Yeah.
She did not skirt the question.
No, it got weird straight away, didn't it?
Yeah, this is we're like for 4 or 5 minutes in here.
So what's the worst thing she's ever done?
She basically bullied and abused and sexually abused
And tortured
her disabled cousin, who was disabled by being in a car accident. And yeah, she went into graphic detail about what she'd done to him and how badly she treated him at this point. Well, she was left to look after him when she was a young child,
leaving him out in the sun.
Or in the rain.
And
Both.
And
stripping him naked and all sorts. It was a horrible story.
Yeah, and then she says that eventually, is it because her and her mother are looking after her cousin, and eventually her mother got a new boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who was an ex-Marine, and the disabled cousin was blinking SOS to the guy.
Yeah, and he got it.
And that's what
stopped it all.
Yeah, that's what found her out.
Yeah. But then
well, I was just going to say, then she sort of, you think, this has got very dark
very quickly.
We're 5 minutes in, and then she sort of starts cackling.
Yeah, she bursts out laughing and
it's I just made that up.
That's the worst. Telling you that story is the worst thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Did you think she'd made it up? What was your initial reaction?
It was very detailed to be made up. Yeah. And I think that was probably Alex's reaction as well, but he just went with it. She came across as a bit of a crazy, drinky, alcoholic-y kind of girl. A bad girl.
Anyway, we'll see if that story comes back or not. They then carry on partying.
Yeah, they go to a bar, get drunk.
Yeah.
Start dancing around in the bar and what have you.
Yeah.
As you do when you're drunk.
Have a few more drinks.
Yeah.
Back to the room.
Yeah.
Get on it.
Do the naughty.
Stop calling it. And then, pass out basically, don't they?
Yeah, they're basically, yeah.
And Doug wakes up in the middle of the night. Scarlett's not in bed.
Who?
So,
Doug?
Sorry. So I've written Doug because he's played by Douglas Smith. Alex. Sorry.
Alex wakes up in the
night.
My
mistake.
Doug's that cartoon character from the 90s. Yeah, he wakes up in the middle of the night.
And Scarlett's upset.
Yeah, she's in a fetal position on the floor.
Yeah.
Crying. There's a TV's on with a creepy pasta. Again, we've got another one.
Yeah, that's definitely a recurring theme.
Yeah,
weird preacher.
I think I've heard 1 out of 11 films. Weird, creepy preacher guy. He's on the TV giving a sermon. She's sitting on the floor crying.
She says, I've heard someone. There's someone here. I can hear them talking.
She can hear them talking to her.
And Alex looks out of the window. And
there's a creepy man.
A guy in a hoodie.
Outside.
Looking up.
Just looking up at their window. So that kind of cuts away at that point, and you don't get any further from the night. So the next morning he wakes up again and the man is still standing outside.
So they decide they're going to carry on their journey.
Yes.
So
that's his driving. I couldn't read my own note there. Yeah, they get back in the car and they start driving off. But then they get a little bit down the road and suddenly she grabs her head.
Yeah.
And she starts screaming at the top of her lungs that she's got this amazing headache that's...
Yeah, and she says she feels like she's being crushed and that she's falling.
Yeah.
Thousands of feet.
All at the same time.
And it's getting worse the further away.
Yeah, the further they get away from the town.
Yeah. It's really odd.
Really odd.
So they turn around.
Yeah, they turn around and go back. Check back into the hotel.
Same room. Scarlett goes to sleep.
Yeah. She tells him to leave her too. He offers to sit with her. She tells him to leave, basically.
Yeah, go and have a drink
in the bar. Which he does.
Then there's a phone call for him.
In the bar.
And it's someone just muffled and repeating his name.
You're unrecognised. Just keep saying Alex over and over again. So he goes back up to the room.
Yeah.
And she's sitting watching the pastor again on the TV, saying that she knows him.
Yeah, and that he's trying to tell her something important.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They don't party this night.
No.
They have a quiet night.
Have a quiet night.
So the next morning again, they try to leave.
Yeah. And the same thing happens again.
Yeah. So they go back to the hotel again.
Well, the man in the balaclava is in the road at one point. And
oh yeah,
I think it's the same night. I think they leave the night. I don't think they stay over.
Okay.
Because he's definitely standing in the road.
Yeah, you're right. That's when they're alright, it's the second time they're trying to leave regardless
of whether it's the morning or not. But yeah, he's standing in the road. Alex spots him at the last minute, swerves to avoid him, and then he isn't there. There's a couple of dogs running away. So they go back to the hotel again.
Fall asleep.
There's a lot of sleeping going on so far. We're already 3 days in as well.
And Alex has a weird dream.
Yeah, he has a weird dream.
So again, it's a mixture of all the partying and stuff, but then there's a load of other imagery mixed in. So out in the desert, there's shovels, there's dirt.
Yeah.
And he wakes up, he turns to his side, Scarlett's not there, and there is a load of dirt and handprints.
Yeah, muddy handprints on her side of the bed. As if it looks like she's been dragged away.
Yeah.
The handprints are dragging back through the bed.
But she is not there.
No. The pastor's on the TV again, just watching him this time. He's not saying anything, he's just kind of watching. And the housemaid comes in and completely blanks him.
Yeah.
So it's like he's almost invisible. It's like nobody can see him.
And I was interesting because then that didn't carry through.
No, they never went back to that.
So I think that was just a misleading thing.
Possibly.
Because I thought, is no one going to be able to see him now? But he went down and had a conversation with the guy downstairs.
Yes, he did, yeah.
So I didn't quite get that.
He gets another weird phone call.
Yeah.
Offering to help him find his girl.
Yes.
Which he got a little bit scared of because he ran away.
Yeah, and then he says, the guy on the phone says, I'm in the room with you.
Yeah.
And Alex turns around and you can see like a boot. So someone's foot, like they're standing in the wardrobe, in the closet.
Yeah.
But it glitches.
Yeah, it's like a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's almost like static on a TV.
Yeah.
It kind of just fades away.
So it's gone.
Yeah.
So he goes
Which freaks
downstairs.
him out, as it would.
He goes downstairs, gets in his car, and he gets apprehended by the guy in the hoodie.
Yes. Well, he's hiding in his car and the guy walks past him and then he sees the guy go up to a different room in the hotel. So follows him up to his room, walks in. He's got a tire iron. What do we call them? You know what a tire iron is. Yeah. He's got one of them in his hand. As he walks in the room, there's nobody in there. And then when he turns around, the man in the balaclava's there and suddenly he's got the tire iron in his hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think you start to get the picture. There's a lot happening very fast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things flashing around.
Yeah.
Objects moving from one place to another.
We're still only like 15, 20 minutes into the film. It's
moving
at a pace.
It's deliberately very disorientated.
Yeah. That's what they're trying for.
And you sort of think, have I seen that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things where it's just a few frames of something or someone in shots.
It's trippy.
So, yeah, it's kind of going for that sort of David Lynch vibe, isn't it? Straight away.
Definitely.
That sort of weirdness.
Yeah. He's definitely the inspiration on this.
Yeah, so Alex and the hoodie guy, as I've referred to him.
I've referred to him as Balaclava Man.
Okay.
Either way, he's got his face covered.
He makes Alex drive him somewhere. So he drives him out to the desert.
Yeah.
And they end up somewhere in the middle of nowhere, even more in the middle of nowhere than they were before.
In the middle of a desert.
This hoodie guy basically explains that he's been burying people alive.
The creepiest thing I've ever heard in a film, I think.
In the desert for years and years. He says, I bury people alive, but they never die.
That really freaked me out. That's like, imagine that.
This character looked really creepy.
Yeah, he did.
And
he got like scars on his face. And
his look was good, and his vibe was really, it was really unsettling that he spoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll come to later why they had to disguise his voice.
Yeah.
But it was almost like it was worse than even Christian Bale's Batman
you were going to bring up
it?
Christian Bale's Batman voice.
It was not, it was bad
it was
choice of editing.
Yeah, it was a weird, it did take you out of the moment slightly, but yeah, when he said, I'd take people out and bury them in the desert and they never die.
So he gives them this little pep talk.
Yeah.
And he's got like, he's a bit, the other reason I mentioned Batman, because he's a bit jokery, isn't he? Because he's had his
mouth's all
slashed,
slit.
So he's got a permanent smile.
A Chelsea smile?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, so he's got like a permanent scar smile like the Joker.
And he gives Alex this little pep talk, and then suddenly, Alex is back in the car on his own.
At night.
And it's night time.
Yeah.
Presumably he's driving on his way back to the hotel. We're not really sure. But he stops at a church.
Yes, he finds a church.
Which is the same church
that the pastor's been going on about.
Yeah. And he goes in and he sees the preacher and he describes this person who he's seen, and the preacher tells him, you've seen the angel of the bottomless pit.
Which again is really creepy. That's a creepy name. Angel of the bottomless pit.
And the preacher says, look, I'm happy to carry on having this conversation with you, but I've got to record some more of my TV show.
Yeah.
So can you go in there, press the button, do us a favour,
press the record button.
Press the record button. So the preacher's there sermoning, and Alex steps into a back room. He opens a Bible.
Yeah.
And then Bible. In proper like comedy style. You only see this in films.
Yeah.
It's the pages have been cut out and there's a gun in there.
Yeah, there's a gun hidden in the Bible.
So Alex nabs that just in case he might need it.
Puts it in the back of his pants.
But then he turns around and he sees a picture, a framed picture on the desk, and it is of Scarlett.
Yes.
Which makes him go a bit...
Yeah, he runs into where the preacher's recording and interrupts the sermon, grabs him. The guy goes crazy. He's like, "What are you doing? I'm on TV." And they turn the camera off eventually, and the preacher explains that Scarlett is his daughter.
Yeah, and that he knows all about it because Alex has been hanging around with her for a number of months.
Yeah, and he's fully aware. The preacher is fully aware of that.
But the preacher then opens the book, the Bible.
Yeah.
Pulls the gun out, which is back in there.
It's not in Alex's pants anymore.
Yeah, it's not in his pants. And, basically threatens him.
Yeah, he puts the gun right up to his head and he's screaming at him and they're both screaming and it's quite epic and it's all crazy.
He says to him, "You can't die if you're not alive."
Yeah.
And Alex sort of says, "Whoa, what is this? Is it hell? Am I dreaming?"
Yeah.
And then the preacher shoots him in the head.
Yes.
So, what do you think of the preacher?
I thought he was really good.
So, he was played by Ted Levine.
All right.
Who's been in a lot of stuff, but he's probably most famous for being Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, I twigged that. I didn't get that. That was him.
So he's been in a lot of stuff.
He's been around for a long time then.
And he was the trump card in this movie.
Yeah, he was really good. I mean, we're becoming experts on movie preachers.
I think he's the best crazy preacher we've seen.
I liked Clancy Brown in Little Evil, but yeah, this one's more terrifying than the other two.
Disturbing.
Much more disturbing. That's the word I was looking for, disturbing.
So yeah, Alex has been shot dead.
Yeah, except he hasn't.
No, because he wakes up.
Because he wakes up in a completely different place, completely different room that we've not seen before.
Yeah, a very posh house.
And he's wearing a wedding ring.
Yeah.
Which they focus on, like, this guy's wearing a wedding ring.
Yeah.
Look!
Yeah, so if
they get a real close up on his hand.
If they could put alarm bells and flashing lights in the soundtrack and a big arrow pointing to it, I think they would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it turns out he's woken up in a massive posh house with all the mod cons and he's got a wife.
Yeah.
And his friend turns up at the door to ask him where he's been for the last few days because they've got to close the El Rancho Estates deal.
Yeah. Callback.
Yeah.
We love a callback.
Yeah, he's got no idea what's
Isn't that? He hasn't got a clue. He's confused as confused as we are at the minute. He Googles the hotel to see if it's real and finds that it is, and then his computer breaks.
Yeah.
So something's clearly happening. It's weird. The pastor briefly flashes on his TV.
Yeah, but not as in it's not broadcast.
No, it's just like a.
He turns around, the TV happens to be on, and he flashes on her. Yeah. So he gets in his car and he drives back.
Yeah, drives all the way. I don't know where he woke up.
No,
that's been never told. But he drives all the way back to the hotel,
and nothing's the same.
No.
So the people working there are different.
Yeah.
You know, the guy behind the bar is different. Who's talking to, and he actually gets in a conversation with him. He says, "Oh, I drove all the way back here, and everything is wrong."
Yeah.
And there's no church, so he stops where the church was.
Yeah, it's not even there.
It's not there.
There's
nothing
like there. Dead desert there.
He gets moved on by the police.
Yeah.
And then he just goes and starts digging.
Yeah. The policeman had a really good line. Did you catch the policeman's line?
I have got that. So the policeman said, people tend to focus on the world around them rather than the one within.
Yeah.
And that was a callback to earlier, because isn't that what the preacher said?
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. So something weird is definitely happening in Alex's life. Because even though in this universe that he's woke up in inverted commas, the policeman's quoting the preacher who doesn't exist. It's weird. What were you thinking at this point?
I had an inkling that Alex wasn't existing.
Yeah. We'd pretty much been force-fed that.
Yeah. But more intriguing was the Scarlett character.
Yeah, and where it was heading. And
so where is she in this new...
She's just gone. We haven't seen her now for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So she was disappeared from whatever reality or world he was in before.
Yeah.
And we don't know what happened to her.
Yeah.
There's a hell of a lot of like red herring things in here.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, I didn't dislike it. And this goes for the film as a whole. I didn't dislike it. And I understand it was throwing so much at you to try and discombobulate you.
Yeah.
But I just think you have to be in the right mindset to watch this film in like
I said at the beginning, it's not something you can just throw on.
No.
You've got to be prepared to sit down and take it in.
It had some pretty lofty ideas and goals, and I don't think it quite pulled them off ultimately.
Okay.
But
we'll get back to that.
I wanted to... Yeah, I was along for the ride. Yeah. I wanted to see her again by this point.
By this point, I was all in. So Alex digs a hole
out
where he is, And then the next thing we see is him driving back to his house.
Yeah. Has an argument with his
She's
new
pissed.
wife.
She's pissed that he's vanished again. And then he looks out the window.
Yeah, well, there's a thud in the door because the paper boy's throwing the paper
out the door. So he goes out to get the paper. Yeah, you're right, he does.
And he looks next door, and who's next door?
Scarlett.
Yeah.
She
also
is,
collecting her paper.
Yeah, she is the next door neighbour. So he legs it over to her, and she doesn't know him.
No idea who he is.
No recollection of him. She laughs at him.
She doesn't know him from Adam. Or Alex.
Or anybody. She laughs at him and then just goes back inside.
Yeah.
So he's freaking out at this point. He's got no clue what's going on.
So he just sits on a sofa for like hours.
Yeah. There was a time passing montage.
Yeah.
I love a montage.
And he later follows her, so she goes out.
Yeah, she goes out for a drive.
To the ends up she
goes
going
to the supermarket. He follows her.
She buys loads of vodka.
Yeah.
And some lemon and limes.
A lemon and a lime.
So she's, again, hit over the head rather obviously that she has a drinking problem.
Yeah. So he's standing right behind her.
Yeah, like really, he's now being really creepy.
He's being creepy now because he's standing right behind her in this supermarket.
And she looks up and they've got one of those circular round the corner type mirrors that you see in
sort of thing that the cashier can see the whole story.
Yeah. So she looks up, she sees he's behind him.
Yeah.
And then he looks up.
Yeah.
And the balaclava hoodie guy
is briefly there.
Is there.
Yeah.
Which scares him.
Yeah.
And then she's gone.
Yeah. She disappears.
Again, it's all very click,
so
flash.
Fast. He's now on his own. He knocks some eggs on the floor. In a really horrible scene where the egg yolk starts bleeding.
Yeah, and he goes home and counts a load of peas.
Yeah, he goes home and gets some tinned peas out of the fridge. Or wherever you keep tinned peas.
And why does he do that?
I think he's starting to realise at this point, isn't he? Because he's looking at this pea. He's looking at this pea for a very long time.
Like, yeah, it is a long time.
The girl that he's with, his wife, who I think is called Paige.
Yeah.
She comes down and he talks to her about this pea for ages. And he can't understand why it's rotten. There's one rotten pea in the jar, or in the tin. And why, if he is in a dream, why would it go into that much detail to have a bloody yolk and a rotten pea? So she thinks he's gone mad at this point. They sit and have a chat, and he tells her that he's become obsessed with the idea that he or nothing else exists.
Yeah.
He's basically having an existential crisis.
Yeah. And he has come to the conclusion that they, all of them, are in someone else's dream.
Yeah, he figures they're characters in somebody else's dream.
Yeah, and that he is not controlling anything that's going on.
Yeah, that's the eureka moment of this film.
He says a line, if she dies in this world, then she will wake up somewhere else.
Weird.
Yeah.
I was hooked by that point. I like that concept. I'm going with this film now. She tries to convince him it's all real. She doesn't accept that.
So they have like a moment, don't they? They have like...
It's more than a moment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they have a moment and then they have sex.
Yeah. Do the naughty.
And then after that, Alex asks Paige, when did we meet? And she says, and this was a creepy line.
This was a really creepy line.
She says, what a silly question. We met yesterday. I'm your wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Nothing is real.
Yeah, nothing. That's proof now that what he's saying is right. He is a character in somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so the next morning, Alex sees Scarlett leave the house.
Yeah.
And he sort of jimmers the lock and gets into the next door's house.
Yeah.
And what does he find? So he goes next door. He rummages through a load of desks. Doesn't he?
He finds a load of photos of Scarlett as a child.
Yeah.
Some newspaper clippings of the balaclava man.
Yeah, and what's he done? What's the newspaper? Can you remember?
No.
So it's a newspaper clipping and it's got like a photo fit.
Yeah.
And it's of the balaclava and hoodie guy, and the headline is something like "Suspects saw an abduction of."
That was it. Yeah.
Boy.
There's some photos of Scarlett as a kid. There's some photos of a young boy in a wheelchair.
Yep.
So you're getting a callback now to earlier in the film for her story. She comes back.
Yep. He's again saying, "Come on, you know me, you know who I am."
Yeah.
And she still doesn't. She's drunk.
She's out
of her head. And
she comes back, he's hiding in a wardrobe.
Yeah.
And she instantly knows that he's there. He tells her to come out. She tells him to come out straight away.
And she basically tries to get him in bed and says, I'll be whoever you want me to be.
Yeah.
At which point, the preacher comes in.
Yeah.
Because he's her dad.
Yeah.
And they have a fight.
Yeah, they do have a fight. He beats him quite hard. Alex beats him up quite hard.
Yeah.
And he turns around to go for Scarlett. And what does she do?
So she slashes his mouth.
Wide open.
Yeah. Gives him the Chelsea smile, as you say.
He punches her really hard in the face.
Oh yeah, he one bombs her and she's gone.
He did not appreciate having his mouth cut open.
No. And he abducts her.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts just happened there.
This is so fast.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop at all.
The way we've sort of been through this, you might think this is a sort of epic
It's not.
couple of hour film.
It's 1 hour and 24 minutes. It's 84 minutes long.
Yeah, it's
relentless.
It is relentless. It is tiring. I actually found this quite tiring to watch because there is. I don't want to say there's not a wasted second because I think that there is quite a few wasted seconds, but there is so much coming at you. It's too much.
Yeah, I got to the point where I was like, I'm enjoying this, but I want it to end now because I want to know what's going to happen, and I've had enough.
Yeah,
I really am intrigued to see the ending.
It didn't need to be. Yeah, if it had been any longer,
yes, yeah,
definitely. I'd have been totally switched off.
Yeah, I agree. So he drives away. She's tied up in the back seat, and he takes her to the place that's in the photos. So like
of the boy in the wheelchair and her as a child. Yeah,
it's like an old ranch.
So it's their childhood, her childhood
home. It turns out. Yeah.
In the photos, I didn't pick this up at first, but you see him again now. I think because when they get there, he holds the photo up.
Yeah, you do.
So again, obviously, note to the viewer with a big flashing light that they're in the same places in the photo.
Yeah.
And he is the boy in the wheelchair.
Yes. So that's what it turns out, that Alex is the boy in the wheelchair. But as a child, or I don't know if it was a child or as a teenager or whatever, she kind of... Well, he digs another hole to start with, because he's convinced that this kid is buried in the desert.
He says, I'm buried in the fire pit.
I'm buried in the fire pit.
Because he describes to her, I can remember the feeling of being crushed and the dirt.
The dirt in my lungs and whatever. And he finds a bone, which he confronts her with. And that's when it turns out he's the cousin and she buried him alive.
Ah, but he's also the hooded man.
And he's also the hooded man because he's had his mouth slashed open.
And he's also Alex.
Yes.
But she says to him, you're not Alex.
Yeah.
You're not the hooded man.
Yeah.
And you're not the little boy I killed.
Yeah.
So, again, this is just really trying to throw you out, throwing so much at you, because that's what happens in a dream, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all...
Stuff happens for no reason.
They're
trying to represent that in this film.
Successful. Now you know that this is a dream. This whole film feels like a dream.
Yeah.
And I suppose if you watched it again, you'd get it completely. You'd probably get more out of it. She says the line to him, "You're nothing and you don't even exist."
Yeah.
Which is mad.
We probably should have said spoilers ready. If you've listened to any of our episodes before, you know that we go into spoilers.
Yeah, absolutely.
This film's been out for 2 years, so I'm not accepting arguments of, well, you spoiled it for me. No. But
there's a warning in the description of every episode.
We are literally going to give away the twist at the end. So she is pleading for Alex to kill her.
Yeah.
So he's got this spade that he's just dug this hole with.
Yeah.
And she's saying, do it, just finish it, hit me, this will all be over.
So the man in the balaclava is the guy that she blamed for the death.
Correct.
Yeah. She, as a child, she blamed the fact that somebody had broken in. So that's where you get your characters from. You've got Alex is the kid, and Alex is the guy who she blamed.
Yeah. So her story was that a man in a hood came, killed her cousin, and then tried to rape her.
Yeah. Alex hits her.
Gives her the spade.
Shovel faces her.
Yeah.
And she dies.
Yeah, and then it cuts to a shot of another Scarlet.
Yeah.
In bed.
Yeah.
And being pronounced dead, and she's overdosed on drugs.
Yeah, drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. And then flash back to the desert, and Alex is burying the other Scarlet in the desert.
The dream Scarlet.
Yeah.
So this whole film is the final dream of a guilty murderer just as she's about to die.
Yeah. So real Scarlet, as she was overdosing,
was having this
dream.
Fever dream.
Basically. And that is
the end of the film.
What's been going on for the...
That is what's been going on, and that is the end. There is not a happy ending to this one.
No.
That is grim.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
Did you?
Honestly, I really did enjoy it. And I figured, when I was watching this, I was thinking, I don't think Nick's going to like this. And I thought this would be the first one that we really disagree on. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It got me, and it got me early on. Like you say, there's a lot of issues with it, and any longer, I'd have been all out. But I think it was the perfect length, and it told its story really well. The concept is fascinating. I really enjoyed it. And you're looking at me as if to say you're a fucking idiot.
I did not like it very much.
I didn't think you would. I knew you wouldn't, but I really enjoyed the concept and I thought it was told really well.
I like the idea. It burnt me out. I felt like it was just gimmick after gimmick, and I didn't buy into it. I don't think it was as clever as it thought it was. I didn't think the acting was that great, apart from the preacher. I didn't really like Alex.
Were you supposed to? I don't know.
No, I didn't think he was that good. I just thought,
as an actor?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a great performance.
Okay.
I didn't really like this.
See, I went into this, and when it came out, I was like, I'm not going to enjoy that. That doesn't look like my sort of thing. The trailer makes it look really trippy and weird, and it is trippy and weird. And I sat down to watch it, and I sat there and I thought, I don't want to watch this, but I've got to watch this for this film, for this podcast. And I think I went into it with that attitude, made me like it more. I'm not going to say this is the best film I've ever seen, obviously, but there is something here that you can get out of this film that is enjoyable. And you've got to be in the right, like I say, you've got to be in the right frame of mind for it. And you've got to be prepared to really concentrate on what's going on.
Maybe that's part of it. Maybe I wasn't quite, because I've got. I'm not saying I've got to watch it. I don't mean it was like a chore.
Yeah.
But I had to watch this when I watched it, and maybe I wasn't in that quite frame.
Possibly. I definitely wasn't. I didn't want to watch it.
But it didn't grab me as much as it grabbed you by the sound of it. Having
fair
said
enough.
that, it's nowhere near the worst thing we have seen.
No, not even slightly.
It's not in the worst bottom few. Actually, we'll come to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But
I think if this film's directed by somebody who's a bit more of a name, with starring a couple of people who are probably a bit more famous, it probably would have got a cinema release, and it probably would have been not well renowned, but it probably would have done better than it has.
I just think it wasn't there wasn't much nuance to it. Again, I'm not looking for Oscar winning.
No, it's not.
But I just felt like it really beat you around. I felt like I'd been hit with a spade with how obvious some of these signposts and things were.
It wasn't. You're right. It isn't as clever as it thinks it is, and it does hit you in the face with he's married now. Here's the photo. They're definitely where she grew up, and it doesn't give you much food for thought. But I thought the concept was really good, and I thought they pulled it off. I genuinely did, and there isn't a lot of people that I don't think. Well, there isn't a lot of people that like it because it's quite badly rated on IMDb, and it is right at the bottom of the stream. There is not many people on Netflix watching it. Nobody's talking about it. I did a Twitter search, and there's not a lot out there about it. It's not got a cult following like Murder Party had or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe I was just in the right place at the right time for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I
probably don't know anybody else that would enjoy it. I wouldn't recommend it to many people. But if you've got the same sort of film taste as me, you might enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think it just goes to show, I've said this before, but this is why we wanted to do this podcast, because I wouldn't have picked up something like this, and it was an experience. There's so much going on in this.
It is so fast paced,
and I can imagine. I'm almost surprised it hasn't got as much of a cult following, because I've seen worse things than this that have
in this sort of genre as well. And
in this sort of trippy, it's a bit weird, it's a bit freaky,
and it really
has got a couple of twists in there.
When you get the twist that it is a dream and you are watching a dream, it really feels like you're watching a dream, and the way it moves and the way things move, and then they're not there and then they're there. I thought they pulled that off really well. As soon as you get that twist, I was like, yeah, I'm all in on this. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's mid.
I might be overselling it. It's no more than mid-table.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I may be overselling it slightly. But I thought it was fun.
I mean, there's worse things you can do with an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got to spare an hour and 20 minutes, just do it.
Like I say, it was. I found it a bit heavy-handed, and
yeah,
I did find it exhausting to watch.
I did. I agree with you, but sometimes I like that. I've got a really weird taste in films. You know this. So, where do we go? Stream table wise on a film that we don't agree on. Do you want to run through the stream table?
Yeah, go for it.
So currently at number 1 is The Dawn Wall.
Yeah.
Which was the documentary we watched last week. Number 2 is Little Evil. Number 3 is Cube. 4 is Bait. 5, I Think We're Alone Now. 6, Don't Kill It. 7, Await Further Instructions. 8, Murder Party. 9, Open House. 10, Sierra Burgess is a Loser. That might be the last time I go all the way through that, because it's available on the website and it's getting quite long.
Yeah.
I know where I think it sits.
I know where I think it sits.
Where do you think it sits?
So, I think there's a clear divide in this table so far.
Yeah, there is.
So it's down to don't kill it, and then anything under that.
Yeah.
I would put this underneath don't kill it.
And above the wait further instructions.
For me, yeah.
That's exactly where I'd put it.
Even though we didn't like it.
Even though we didn't like it, you didn't like it and I
did.
did. Like you say, there's such a big divide that it bridges that gap between await further instructions and don't kill it to the point where it's in the middle of those two films.
Yeah.
Even if you think it's more towards await further instructions and I think it's closer to don't kill it, there's such a gap between those two films. This film fits in there.
Yeah, I think, that's true. That's true. There you go.
There we go. So it is going to sit at number 7.
Sierra Burgess out of the top 10. Oh, we've got enough that we've got.
But when we get to the number 100, Sierra Burgess is a Loser will be at number 100.
Oh no, just careful what you wish for.
If we watch a worse film than that, I swear to God. Yeah. So it's going in at number 7 on the stream table, which is it's filled in our little gap, I think.
It's respectable enough. Look, if you want to be freaked out,
yeah,
check it out. It's weird. I didn't care for it too much, but I did. So
yeah, exactly.
Take your chances, guys.
Yeah, see what you think. If you listen to all the other podcasts, you'll know the sort of things that we're both into. So whoever you trust's opinion more, go with that. Are we ready to pick next week's film?
Yes.
Okay. Let me find the app. Have you added anything more?
Yeah, I did quite a few.
Okay.
In the last week or so.
Right, let's go.
Don't ask me for what, because I genuinely can't remember.
Don't worry. Right, so this is going to pick, and here's the noise. My phone's on silent. Didn't make the noise.
Slight technical error.
It has picked The Package.
The Package. Is it about...
Sounds like a Jason Statham
drug
type.
Smuggling, secret agent?
No, it definitely isn't.
Okay.
Looking at this. This is described as a 2018 film, 15, 1 hour 34 minutes, and a comedy.
Okay.
You know my feelings on comedies. Looking at the poster, it looks like it's a teen comedy.
Okay.
The synopsis says, when a group of teenage friends go on a spring break camping trip, an unfortunate accident sets off a race against time to save their friend's most prized possession.
They're talking about his wang.
I think there might be.
Amazing.
I think this might be a wang film. Do you want to watch the trailer?
Yes, do it.
Show them the ID. Show military ID. Jack Jessup reporting for booze.
You don't look like this guy. This guy looks like a soldier.
Hoorah! I'm really excited to go camping with you guys.
Why are there so many bags?
Stop going through my shit.
Sarah?
Wait, did you not tell them that we were coming?
I'm telling them now, like they're learning of it right now.
Jeremy said we're going like 6 miles into the woods.
Got you something, dude.
The Fun King condom?
This might be your chance to be with Becky.
She's always had a thing for you.
I'm slow playing it, okay?
You are no playing it.
Guys, it's spring break, and I'm ready to rage. Let the games begin. Drink up, bitch!
Oh!
Why? If you want, we can hike down.
No, I'm not gonna take the long way down. I'm gonna take the Sean way down.
Oh my god!
It honestly didn't hurt that much. It was actually really fun.
Ooh. Oh. This knife is so sharp. What the fuck is he doing?
Did you just... Oh, no. 911, I have a medical emergency. I need a medevac pronto.
Oh my god, I didn't see us.
This will get their attention. Whose idea was it to set off the fireball? It was all me, dude. You're a fucking idiot!
That was insane.
Wow, the Fun King? You wanted to use it at the hospital?
It was just supposed to be camping.
Sean, let's go.
Yeah.
What's your problem?
Sean, do you have a boner?
What? I don't have a bony.
Did you just fart?
No, it's the seat.
Oh my god, do you have the farts and a boner?
I don't have the farts or a boner.
One of those is definitely a lie.
You're being cockblocked, literally by your own cock.
Oh, that looks interesting.
Looks very different to what we've just watched.
It really does. It looks like it's a Netflix film as well. Yeah, so check out The Package.
Hey. This is
That's one of my best chat of lives.
Most innuendo-filled episode ever, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Okay, we'll watch that at some point between then and now. No, between now and then.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week to talk about it. Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.